Scorpio.
Hello Scorpio, this is your March forecast for your astrology, and it's a beautiful month. It's going to be a busy month. There's a long list of transits coming up, plus we have a couple of eclipses coming up. We've got a total solar eclipse and we have a partial lunar eclipse. I'll be making a special video on those eclipses for more information, but I will mention them briefly as we go along here. But to start off here, you have the sun passing through your 5th house for joy, love, and self-expression, romance, and your creativity. For those of you who have your own business, well, this is the time that you're going to radiate because the sun is there. And Neptune is already moving through this house, and so I'm feeling you're really aligning yourself with those things that are important to you as far as your hopes and dreams. And of course, this new moon, this solar eclipse is taking place on the 8th in this area. So, you know, a solar eclipse, it's like the power of 3 full moons all together. So it's really going to speed things up. New beginnings are taking place in this area. You could also add children to the mix because that's also what the 5th house is. But for your creative self-expression, how wonderful. We have Mercury and Venus in your 4th house. That has to do with your home and family. Mercury is communication, so you will see that there might be more interaction and also a lot of love. Venus rules that love. So between you and your family members, this could be more so now in the forefront, but it's also you beautifying your home. Think about Venus and beauty, right? So you might just move things around and get a new feng shui or something of that nature going on as well. Mars is currently in your own sign of Scorpio, and it is finalizing here within this first week of March. So you want to wrap things up the best you can. Mars is in your 1st house for personality. It is you using and have been using throughout that of since late January, but throughout that of February, where you're more, what should I say, point specific with direction, action, dedication, steaming, burning a whole lot of energy, that Marsy energy. So I think you're going to be able to feel that you could really wrap things up right now, and then it's going to give you somewhat of a break. Whereas the last 3 weeks of March, Mars will be moving into your 2nd house for money and income. So this will be a time where you can look at the money that you're getting in. You might be crunching some numbers to see exactly how you can improve this area. Is it time for a raise? Is it time to go and perhaps seek out new contracts? Whatever the deal is for you, Mars is going to feel somewhat enthusiastic about it all, because moving in the sign of Sagittarius is always very enthusiastic and optimistic. So your energy is also going to lift when it's cruising through Scorpio. Even though it's your sign, that Mars really takes a lot out of you because it's so deep, you know. So you might have been feeling you've been using extra resources here in February. So that's the good news about Mars. Jupiter, which is transiting your 11th house, well, that is the area of your hopes and dreams. Now, Jupiter is going to be retrograde until May 10th, but that's okay. This isn't a heavy planet to have retrograde. In fact, what it can come to do is bring to you maybe some opportunities that presented itself earlier, and now you will have a chance to go back around and maybe start up these things. But you have this until May, the retrograde, and it will be in this area of your chart till late summer. So you still have great time here to expand the area of your hopes and dreams, to keep that on your focus, should I say. Then we have Saturn is in your 2nd house, also for money and income. So many of you have been taking your financial situation more seriously as of late, here in 2015. You're still working on it. It's still going to cruise here through another year, year and a half. So you have time to really set the foundation down for what it is you want in the long term. So no rush on it, but whenever we have aspects, transits hitting on Saturn, then it becomes activated, and then we can really, create some leaps and bounds in that area. Uranus is in your 6th house, another of the long-term transits, has to do with your health, has to do with your appetite, maybe even sleep patterns, because that ties into health. And Uranus is really weird in that sense. Some of you might feel that you are experiencing insomnia. And if that is the case for you, well, then you know where it's coming from. Uranus is always like, wakey, wakey, stay awake. You could wake up in a flash second, just like that, and your brain will be all activated. So as long as it's transiting here, and it's only like a little bit more than halfway through the sign, so you're still going to have this for a few years, but I just thought I would mention it, just because I know how that Uranian energy can definitely keep you up throughout the night. Then we have Neptune, long-term transit again, 5th house for self-expression, creativity, and the inner artist within you that over time, long transit, several years still, but you're going to come to see how you're going to be having this growing need or this awareness of your own artistic abilities that can come out in so many beautiful ways, Scorpio. So, does it have to just be one area? Not necessarily. You're going to probably come to find that you can start exploring a little bit here or there just to see wherever you will find your personal niche to express. And just touching shortly upon Pluto in the 3rd house, it's communication, and it is your ruler. So of course you are a power person to be reckoned with. This is what people get from you, because when you say something, Scorpio, people listen. It's just the way you come across. It's the way you deliver it, in both a very serious manner, but also in a very direct manner, right? So people will take in what you say, and they won't forget it too easily either, because there's that magical point of Pluto's, should I say, transformation, that you could actually help people grow by you being as direct and honest as you are. So to look at the transits this month, long list. Last month, February, we didn't have too many transits, so it allowed us more of a smooth going month. Sure, there was happenings taking place, but this month we have a lot of things to go through, and we're going to start off here at top of the month with Venus and Uranus sextile. That's excitement, okay? Uranus is always very excited. What is it excited about? It's excited about Venus, which is love, romance, but also the financial aspect. So good news could come to you here on March 2nd. Now on the 6th, we have you looking at Saturn with a square. And so what does that mean? It means like, okay, now what do I do with this situation? Then we look to where Saturn is. It's a 2nd house for money and income. So you might be thinking about something, whether to purchase, to go with it or not go with it. Whenever in doubt, don't do anything. Just wait for the green light. On the 6th, we also have the Sun and Pluto. They're sextiling one another. So that's the essence of you. And then Pluto, your ruler, here in the 3rd house. So it's between the 3rd and the 5th house. That is you maybe communicating with a loved one, which could be your partner. It could be somebody else that you really truly care about. It could also be your child. So I'm feeling between these two planets here on the 6th, you're going to speak your truth for what you mean, for the higher good of whoever's involved here. And it feels deep, which it always is with Pluto. Then we have quite a few. We've got 4 aspects here between the 14th and the 15th. I call it a decision time period. Mercury is really involved. Mercury rules our thoughts, our communications, our ability to do rational thinking objectively. It's going to be a little bit in doubt. So that doesn't mean that something won't have a good outcome. What it means is that it's going to stimulate your curious mind to look at what is it I really want from this. And it comes from, first, on the 14th, we have Mercury and Saturn. They're squaring up on each other. Now, we had the Sun squaring up on Saturn there on the 6th. So I'm feeling whatever it was you were undecisive of on the 6th, you're going to talk about it here now because it's still lingering. And whatever communication you're going to have, I still feel you're not finding the key, right? But it's good to talk about it. Mercury will also perhaps want to research a little bit. On the same day, we got Venus and Mars. They're square too. So it could be a situation between you and your partner, which is Mars-Venus, but it could also be between action, which is Mars, and something financial, which also is Venus. And so they're not totally in agreement, and when that happens, don't do anything. Just wait. Allow it to roll a little bit. Mercury is working with Pluto in a good sense to kind of find out what the consequence would be if you choose this or that, right? So there's good things here helping you to also obtain a higher perspective on the situation, because Mercury is opposing Jupiter. Jupiter will give you the overview of what's going on. Mercury will help you assimilate that picture. So I'm feeling that once you've taken yourself to the 15th, then comes the answer. Then you know what you want. You have achieved the insights of your questioning here as you went through the doubting phase, because on the 16th, Jupiter and Pluto are coming together in a beautiful trine. Jupiter expands everything. It is always very enthusiastic. It's giving, it's fortunate, it's all of those good things. Pluto with the power to transform. So 16th is a great day, great news coming in. You are decisive. We have Venus and Neptune conjunct on the 20th. Circle that on your chart for a romantic evening. If you are in a relationship, this is a great time for the two of you to share, because Venus is love and romance, and Neptune is that higher aspect of Venus. So it could be this feeling of cosmic love, right? So if you're in a relationship, that's great. If you are single, well, you could come to meet somebody. And it just feels very dreamy. Think about Neptune in that way, and you'll know what I mean. On the 24th, we have Mercury and Mars. This is communication. It is drive. It's ambition. When the two of them meet in a beautiful trine, we can expect good news to come in form of a phone call, an email, or a text. I see Mars being your drive and action, taking action. It might be you sending out some good news for somebody as well, of course. On the 25th, we have, and the 26th is what I call power days. So circle these on your calendar. First, we have Venus and Jupiter. They're opposing one another. And normally we think of oppositions as like a push-pull kind of thing, which it can be. You know, Venus, love or money, and Jupiter wanting to expand. So there could be a push-pull, a need for a decision. Venus might want to buy something, and it might be too much because it's Jupiter, right? And Jupiter is never stingy. So it could be that. But it could also be Jupiter helping you to try to find a higher perspective of the full image of what it is Venus is yearning for. And I call it power days because here, the day after, on the 26th, we got a couple of very powerful aspects, the Sun and Mars. You being the Sun, Mars being action. Action that you want to take, and you're all aligned with it. So I see you taking a leap of faith, a jump, feeling convinced. And it's always, that's when we want to act, when we're feeling that sense of conviction, because then we're 150% behind it, and that's where success can follow. And not only are you feeling good about the direction you're choosing, but we have Venus and Pluto. Now, Venus is what you desire. It is what you love. It is what you want to embrace, and Pluto coming in with the powerfulness of being able to transform the very thing you love. Now, this Venus here, it was opposing Jupiter at first, but Pluto's coming in saying, if you can embrace this situation, I will grant you this. And then that Pluto will do it for you. That Pluto is in your third house for communication. So it could come from one of your siblings or somebody in your neighborhood, or it could just be you and the way that you're communicating with now Venus here in this fifth house for creativity, joy, and fun. So love, love, love those 2 days there, 25th, 26th. Then you have a couple of decisions towards the end of the month. We're looking at that. That is Mercury, your thoughts, your communication with Saturn. Saturn will be retrograde now from the 25th of March to 13th of August. So yes, we can see things slow down. And I know that so many of us think, oh dear, here we have a retrograde. It's going to cause delays and things are going to slow down. But hey, listen, we want to look at the positive side of retrogrades. That's the universe giving you an extended period in a certain area so that you can really make the most out of it. Because if they just are always on direct, they might just, soar through whatever area of your chart and you won't be able to milk the most out of it. So Saturn here, second house for money and income. It's not a bad place to have a retrograde because you're going to be able for an extension of 3 to 4 months to more so look at how you can grow your foundation with security, which Saturn is trying to help you do, right? So a slowdown is only a good thing. Mercury is though direct, so if there's a contract here and you need to sign, it should still pretty much be good because Mercury is direct. But don't expect it to take off like that with wings because Saturn is moving slow now. It is retrograde. There might come changes in whatever this agreement is. So as long as you're flexible, you can do it. On the 30th and 31st, we have Mercury again. Communication, what we think, how we're sharing that. The communication with first a square to Pluto, then a conjunction with Uranus. So even though they're a day apart, they're still kind of like blending in and happening like more or less all at once. Now, Pluto might not agree with one thing here with Mercury. On the other hand, Uranus is helping you to actually set free what needs to be set free. Uranus can come like that, out of the blue, with a solution. So these decisions, I feel here towards the end of the month, they're going to be a little bit exciting because we have to think about too. We have the solar eclipse, which is the power of 3 full moons, which creates new beginnings. So there are things that are going to move forward quickly. It's going to pick up a lot of speed, shunt you forward, and then we have the partial lunar eclipse. And lunar eclipses are more like endings. It clears out what is no longer needed in our life. And it is our higher self making those choices. It's more like when you have a bouquet, some flowers last longer than others in that bouquet. The ones that start withering, well, we weed them out so it doesn't take power from what is still very fresh and alive. That's how I see this eclipse. And so for you, that will be March 23rd for the lunar eclipse, and will be in your 12th house for the subconsciousness. So that's where you're going to be weeding out. But listen, Scorpio, this is what I have for you in March. Your Taroscope for this month will also give you an additional whole lot of information that you might want to check out. I'll see you there in April.